guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while since I last uploaded a video, well over a month I think. A couple of reasons. One, it was Christmas period, it gets busy, it's chaotic, we all know this, and I had some time off over Christmas where I planned a bunch of videos. I was like, right, I'm gonna get these recorded, get them done, get them prepped and get them ready for January, February being released. The universe had different ideas. I caught the dreaded cough and cold. The cough still bothers me, and so does the cold, even 2 weeks later, which left me feeling lethargic, tired. I was super snotty, coughing all over the place, and it just made it very difficult to actually record a video without needing to stop every 2 seconds. So I'm very much delayed on this video in particular because this is my 2023 wrap up and the books I'm looking forward to reading in 2024. So I'm sorry that it's late, but we're here now and I can get it done, and I'm just gonna have to accept that all the videos I had planned for January are going to be later than planned, and that's okay. So it happens. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to just run through the books that I read in 2023, just give you my star rating. I'm not going to talk too much about the book. One, because it's been a while on some of them and I'm not very good at actually remembering specifics of why I like the books, just that I liked them or didn't like them. I don't want to make this video too long. My goal as well was to read 50 books in 2023 and I did it. I hit my goal with a week to spare. So I could have actually read 51 books, but as I say, the last week of the year I just felt rotten, so I didn't read. I just chilled out, watched TV, maybe played on some games because that was pretty much all I could do. This year I have planned to try and read 55 books. I wanted to increase it a little bit, but I didn't want to go too mad because, first of all, 2023 was probably the best year ever for me reading, the most books I've ever read in a year. So I wanted to make sure I could do that at least again for another year before I really pushed the boat out and went for it. But also I'm getting married this year, so the next 7 months I'm going to be a little bit busy with organising stuff for that, getting the decor done, you know, all the jazz if you've got married or if you know someone who's got married, all the stuff you have to get done. But I'm just going to try my best to at least read 50 books. Let's go through the books, shall we? Now, we started off 2023 super strong. The best book I could have read to start off the year, and that was Sarah J Maas, A House of Sky and Breath. Loved it, 5-star. I totally would give it a 10-star, but we do this out of 5, don't we? So 4 stars for this one. Absolutely loved it. If you haven't read it, please read it. I'm pretty sure most people have. I'm having to check my little book journal here because some of these books I don't actually have. I had a mixture of physical copy, Audible, Kindle, and I borrowed a couple of books. So the next book was a borrowed book. I will insert a picture, and that was You. Can't remember who the author was, but I only rated it a 1 star. Not my kind of thing, didn't really like it, but I read it, so I tried something new. The next one was also a book that I borrowed, and it was How to Kill Your Family. Again, I can't remember the authors, and I rated that 2 stars. Again, it was a little bit more interesting than You, but it wasn't my kind of thing. I don't like books that just you can relate to reality, honestly. I much prefer fantasy books, so I rated that 2 stars. The next one was City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I rated this one 4 stars. It's taken me forever to get around to reading these books, but enjoyed that. It was really good. Following that, I read City of Ashes. A little bit thinner this one was. And I also rated that one 4 stars. And following that one, I read City of Glass. Now, I rated this one 4.5 because it finally answered a question that you had throughout these 2 books, I feel, and I liked the answer, basically. So I gave that a 4.5 because of that, just that moment, really. Next, I read City of Fallen Angels. I rated this one a 4. This series really did get a lot of 4s from me because as much as I enjoyed it, it didn't leave me with the feels as much as Sky and Breath, but I still really enjoyed it. So also rated that one a 4. Next one I read was City of Lost Souls. Again, another 4 point, no it wasn't. Another 4-star read. Really enjoyed this one. I mean, it's It's the Shadowhunters. I mean, it's great. How can you not enjoy it? Now, you would think I read the 5th book after that, but I did not. I actually then read Hunger Games. So I've also had this series on my shelf for many, many years, and I was like, I really need to get around to reading them. So I read the first one near the start of the year, and I rated it. Some of my ratings, by the way, if you've watched some of my old videos, I might have changed them because upon hindsight of like going back, I have re-rated some of the books. So if you've watched some of my old videos and then you're watching this one going, she didn't rate it that, I've probably changed I have changed my mind. So just bear that in mind. This one I rated 3.5, I think only because I just had the film in my head. No, maybe not 3.75. It's not terrible. Well, it's because I've watched the films. That's the reason why. So it took away some of the surprises, I guess. It was really well written. I think if I hadn't watched the film, I would definitely have rated it much higher. So we're going 3.75 on that one. The next book was actually an audio book, and that was the Atlas 6. Now, I think my rating is reflective of listening to the audiobook and not reading it, partly because if you've watched my previous videos, didn't like the actors in it, but I rated it, let me double check, a 3-star. Just find it confusing, but at the same time I need to know what happens next, so I rated it 3. After that I read, I've got it on here behind me, no, where is it? It's right here, Atomic Habits. Now I read this for book club I'm part of, and also the podcast that I do, The Power of 30, linked below. Now I rated this it's gonna sound really bad. I rated it 2 stars only because I don't read these kinds of books. I find them really hard to get through. As much as you can see with my tabs, this is probably the only book I've ever tabbed. It's got useful information, it's got useful tips and tricks, and really gets you thinking, which I enjoyed. Just reading them is not my sort of thing because I feel like it's a bit of a chore to read them. I hope you know what I mean. I'm a fiction girly. I can't do non-fiction, so I did struggle, but the content's great. So for the content, definitely read it, but don't expect to be wanting to like keep flicking the page if you are not a non-fiction reader. I said I wasn't going to just like talk about these books, but I can't help myself, can I? So that one was a 2-star. After that, I listened to The Atlas Paradox, and again I rated that one a 3-star. Same reasons as the Atlas 6. I like the fact that they use different actors for the different characters. I just didn't like the fact that they would use if they was talking from one perspective of one character, they would use that actor to do the voices of all the other characters. I don't like that. If you've got the actors there, use them when it's their parts. That's basically it. That's all I needed. So I rated that 3. After that, oh no, I didn't read a physical copy. I listened to another audiobook. There's quite a chunk of time here where I listened to audiobooks because we were having a new kitchen put in, and that's all I was able to read. And that was The Daughter of the Moon Goddess. I really enjoyed that book. I think that was it was my stepping stone into reading a lot of like Asian mythology fiction, and I enjoyed it. I think it's really cute. I think it's really fantastical. I loved it. So I starred that one 4 stars. Again, great, but I wasn't left on a cliffhanger and needing to pick it back up like I was with Crescent City, but really great. And then I followed that up with Daughter of the Sun Warrior. Also gave that 4 stars. Same reasons. It was great. Just wasn't finding myself that I was like, I need to know what happens. After that, I finally finished the series and read City of Heavenly Fire, and I gave this one a 4.25. I thought it was a great wrap up. There was a lot of moments where you was just like, ooh. At least I thought so. So I enjoyed that one. I'm going to have to make another pile because these books are going to fall over. Dannii needs to slow down. I can't help myself. I get so excited that I then rush through my list. I don't want to make it too long. After that one, I then read Catching Fire. Same reasons as Hunger Games. I've obviously watched the films. It takes away the surprise of what's going to happen. So I rated this one 3 stars, 3.25, that sort of area. Great if you haven't watched the films. It would be, again, much higher star. So that one there. And then this is where I went on holiday for a couple of weeks to visit family in Seattle. So then I started reading books on my Kindle. Court of Shadows, this is C.N. Crawford. So I rated that 4.5. Same with Court of Darkness, the follow-on, 4.5. Court of Night, I gave 4.75. And Court of Dreams, 4.75. I thought it was a really great series. I hadn't heard anyone talk about those books, honestly, and I've got a couple of C.N. Crawfords, and I was like, I'm going to start here because I think I got them at a really great deal, and I flew through them. We had a couple of days where we was travelling quite a while. It meant that I had a lot of time to read, so I flew through those ones. Love the series. So if you've not ever read them, highly recommend the Court, Shadows, Dreams, blah, blah. Read that series. It's amazing. I can't actually remember the name of the series, but it's fabulous. So that's C.N. Crawford. Do read it. I read also on my Kindle, Daughter of No Worlds. Loved it. Great stuff. I wasn't sure what to expect. Again, I hadn't heard much about it, so I thought I'd take a bit of a plunge, and I rated it a 4.75 also because it was good. Again, didn't quite make me want to, oh, what's going to happen? But I did really enjoy it, so 4.75 for that one. And naturally, I read the second one in that series, so Children of Fallen Gods. I feel like I'm being really rude because I have to keep checking my book. And I rated that one a 4.5 as well. Well, not as well because I rated the other one 4.75. The middle one was kind of like, okay, there's a few moments, but it just felt a little, I don't know. I don't want to say anything negative because it wasn't negative. I don't know, it just didn't have the same feel as the first one, but it was still great. So 4.5 on that one. Yeah, let's do that. After that, I then picked up another physical book and I read The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O. So cute again. I said that I was getting into sort of Asian mythology, so this one is a Korean mythology, I believe. And I enjoyed it. It was really cute. Look, the cover is stunning on this one. This was a case of judging a book by its cover, and that's why I picked it up. Because I hadn't heard anything about it, even though I know since reading it, a lot of people do like it. I judged it on its cover. It happens. We all do it. If you say you don't, you're lying. Because I definitely do it. And I rated that one a 4.25. I loved it. It was cute. Highly recommend you pick this up. Love that one. After that, I read this book. Now, I think I actually got both of these on a deal when I was at Waterstones. Now, this one I have heard nothing about. I have not heard a soul talk about this book at all. Not at all. Chaos and Flame by Tessa Gratton and Justina Ireland. No one has mentioned this. I even went on Goodreads, and this is for me, a good example of don't trust Goodreads ratings. Don't always trust them, because I believe on Goodreads this has got quite a low rating, like maybe a 3.25. I loved it. I thought it was really good, and I actually can't wait for the next one to come out. I might have to quickly remind myself what happens, because I read this quite a while ago, and I think the next one's out in a couple of months. And one thing, it was super floppy. It's a super floppy book. But I really enjoyed this. I thought it was great. I don't think I can have a bad word about it. I just loved it. So if you've not seen this book or heard about it, give it a go. It was great. I don't know what else to say, and I rated it a 4.5. I just loved it. After that, I listened to Shanghai Immortals. The book cover, again, judge a book by its cover, I thought this is going to be really good. I had read a little bit of the blurb and I was like, this might be my sort of thing. After reading Daughter of the Moon Goddess and things like that, I was like, this might be something I'd really enjoy. I didn't enjoy it. I don't know. I can't remember why I didn't like it. I think I have done a video about this, but I didn't like it. And whatever I rate it, if I didn't rate it this is what I'm rating it now, and it was 2.5. There was just something about it that I just didn't like. That's basically it. 2.5 on that one, I'm afraid. The next book I read was back onto my Kindle, and it was the Mother of Death and Dawn, to finish off that series. And I rated that one a 4.25. It wrapped up just the whole series beautifully for me. I enjoyed it. 4.25. Well, what can I say? Just read that series. After that, I then read probably my first, you would consider this a dark romance, I believe, ever. I had been seeing this all over BookTube, BookTok, everywhere. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I then bought the rest of the series because that's what I do. And didn't hate it. Rated it a 4. But wow, wasn't expecting that. That's all I'm going to say on that one. 4 stars. After that, I read, honestly, following that from that, not a good idea because this is a child. But didn't know, actually. This was just a purchase from a car boot. And I was like, I'll give it a go. I have no idea. And upon getting this book, I have heard a lot about this author a lot more. But however, this book just wasn't for me. If I was 12, 10, 12, would have absolutely loved this one. But being my age now, I'm 32, I just didn't enjoy it that much. So I did rate this one a 2.25. Great for kids though. Really do like suggest reading it for if you're about, like I say, 10, 12. Really good stuff. Just not what I enjoyed now, basically. After that, I then read Was Upon a Broken Heart and rated this one a 4.25. Enjoyed it. Can't wait to finish the series. This is really, really good. 4.25. After that, I read this one, which I also had never heard of, and it is The Hand, the Eye and the Heart by Zoe Marriott. Brilliant LGBTQ plus story, retelling of Mulan, which I've never heard about. You always hear about all the Disney princesses, but not Mulan having a retelling. If you want a kind of fairy tale retelling, I suggest this one. I rated it a 3.75. Really good. I think for me, the ending was kind of cute, but I kind of wanted a little bit more. So that's why it brought the rating down a little bit. But really good, nice story. So read that one if you've not heard about it. After that, I read Fourth Wing. And I finally had another 5-star read / 10-star read. I just couldn't put it down. I know this book has very differing opinions. You either love it or hate it, is what I'm getting. To be fair, I love it. It's amazing. So 5-star there. After that one, we're almost at the end-ish. I went back onto my Kindle and I read a book called Enchant, which was a Snow White retelling. I rated it a 2-star. Didn't like it. It felt rushed. It felt like it missed so much. I feel like it could have been a great story had the author just taken the time to fill in the blanks, essentially. It wasn't for me, so 2 stars on that one. After that, I read Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher, a Sleeping Beauty sort of retelling. Interesting. Different spin on this one, so I enjoyed that. Very small as well, which is nice to just, if you just want a little bit of a break from a big book, this is really cute and good. And I rated it a sort of 3. I'm going to rate it 3 stars on this one because it was just nice. It was just a nice break and interesting, basically. I read The Other Lives of Miss Emily White. Never heard of this one. Dark. Weirdly dark. Was not expecting some of the elements in this book. This is by A.J. Elwood. If you like Victorian sort of stories with a little bit of darkness to it, not major, give it a go. It's good. I did find myself going, ooh, and having a few actual reactions to the book. So recommend this one. And this I rated, I'm going to go 3.25 on that one. Because again, it just was missing the fantasy elements that I really enjoy. But other than that, considering it's a book that I wouldn't pick up and isn't my usual, I think 3.25 is a good rating. I read The Beast Within because this was October and I was just having like a fairy tale kind of gothic-y feel for the month. And flew through this one. It's a really easy read. Read it in couple of hours across 2 days, and yeah, I mean, it was good to read from his point of view instead of Belle's. Really, it was interesting to sort of have the backstory to how he became the Beast. It was fab. Liked it. So I rated that a 3.5. I then read my very first Neil Gaiman, and it was The Graveyard Book. I feel this book, the story, great concept. Love it. Love the idea of just having this little boy that had to go and grow up, I don't want to give too much away, in a graveyard. What I didn't like, similar to Enchant, I just felt there were so many missing bits. Things flown over that I was then like, well, who's this character? Why are they here? What? And some things that just didn't, I couldn't figure out why or how. Unfortunately, I rated it I was being generous here. I've rated it a 3, but I'm going to go with 2.75. Just because yeah. I know Neil Gaiman's stories are great. Like I say, he does have really good ideas for stories, and I love the ideas. It's just, this one for me just didn't do it. So we're going to move on. After that, I read the novelisation of Nightmare Before Christmas, and I rated this one a 2. I love Nightmare Before Christmas. I have a Jack Skellington pop figure right here. But reading the novelisation was really hard because I just found myself singing the songs in my head the whole time, and it just didn't hit the same way as watching it. So I did rate it a 2. However, this is spot on to the film. So as I was reading it, I was picturing the film in my head. I just prefer watching it over reading it. That was literally the only reason I gave it a 2 stars there. Following that one, which I thought was the only right thing to do, Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shea Earnshaw, or Shea Earnshaw. Loved it. I lent this out as well, and to a friend, and she loved it just as much as I did. This is fabulous. I love this. It was great. I enjoyed reading the story of after they got married, what happens next. So I really enjoyed this one, and I rated it a 4.25. I loved it. It was great. Anyway, and this is going on for a long time. I need to hurry up. After that, I read The Ballad of Never After. Again, great story. Followed up nicely from Once Upon a Broken Heart. I said that and I knew it was wrong. And I rated it a 4.25. 4.25. After that, I'm going to keep going. I went back onto my Kindle and I read Forged by Magic by Jenna Wolfhart. I think that's her name. I think it's Wolfhart. And that was such a cute story. I really enjoyed it, and I do want to read her new one that's just come out, I believe. And I rated that one a 4.25. It was cute. It was a nice sort of standalone. Loved it. Please read it if you haven't. I think I'd seen a few people talk about it, and I was like, I'm going to give that one a go. I think it was also on offer. So I was like, let's do it, and loved it. After that one, had another 5-star read, Iron Flame. I know a lot of people were scared about the size of this book, but I don't get scared. I've read the first 3 of the Diana Gabaldon Outlander series. They're huge. So when people was like, oh, it's 623 pages, I was like, I'm used to reading books over 1,000 pages. This is fine. So, and I think a lot of people thought it dragged on, but I didn't. I really enjoyed it. So it was a 10-star read for me. This is great. I'm a lover of that series. The Empyrean series. It's great. Read it if you have not. Next one I read was also on my Kindle, and it was called The Warlock's Bride. It was just a little story, just to fill in some time in between. I don't know why I read a little story, but I just thought I'd give it a go. I think it was one of my Stuff Your Kindle books. And I rated it a 3-star. It was cute, but again, because it was so short, I feel like it was rushed and you missed a lot of stuff that you could have added to the story to make it a lot more. So it has potential, but just didn't hit right. So I gave it a 3 stars. Just leaning forward to grab this one. Finally got my hands on this series and I read The Assassin's Blade. I'm gonna start loving these books, I think. And I do like the fact that these are different to a point to her other series, but still has the adventure and the story, because that is what's gripping me right now. So I gave this one a 4.5. I enjoyed that one. And naturally, I followed it up with Throne of Glass. This was great as well. Rated this one a 4.75. It just had a little bit more than this one. I do recommend reading this and then this, because that made more sense to me, especially because this does relate to this quite often. It talks about moments. So enjoyed those. After that, I then tried to read sort of some light-hearted, leading into Christmas reads, minus this one. So I read the graphic novel of Demon in the Wood of the Grishaverse series. I just thought I'd give it a go, a graphic novel. I read manga, or used to read manga, but not graphic novels. It was alright, nothing to shout about. I'm just reading over here. I should really get better at doing this. I rated it a 2-star. It is what it is. It was alright. It wasn't too bad, but it wasn't all that either. I read The Best Bear in All the World. Just a cute little 4-story about Pooh Bear and his friends. I was never a Winnie the Pooh stan growing up. I didn't dislike Winnie the Pooh, but I wasn't obsessed. I didn't have anything Winnie the Pooh. The most I got was an Eeyore stuffy and a Tigger stuffy, because I won it on one of those claw machines. I believe I won both of them on a claw machine. But other than that, I wasn't a big fan. But these are really cute. If you've got kids, you can read, like I say, you can read them as 4 separate stories. It was cute. So I did rate this one a 2.5, purely because I'm not a kid. So I didn't enjoy it as much as if I was a child. But it was still really cute. I then read on my Kindle a couple of Christmas books. So let's bring this up. I read The Night I Met Father Christmas, which was by Ben Miller. I enjoyed it. It was a nice way to imagine how Santa became who he was. And I rated it a 3-star for that one. After that, I read Father Christmas's Fake Beard. That was a Terry Pratchett book. Wasn't expecting it to be basically a book of many mini stories, slightly interlinked, but very loosely interlinked. Didn't really enjoy it. Rated it a 2-star, wasn't for me, but kids might enjoy it. It was silly, so they might like that one. After that, I had finally read Christmas Carol. So this is Christmas stories, but it does have Christmas Carol in it. I've never read Christmas Carol. Always watch them, always love Christmas Carol. Love the idea, love the concept, love the story. So I thought I'd give it a read. And because obviously it is an old story and uses a lot of old terminology, some bits did kind of, I'm usually pretty good at understanding Victorian English, but this really did throw me on some parts, and I was like, do I understand what that means? So I did struggle just making sure I understood everything. So I did end up rating it a 3-star just for that, because I felt a little bit, I'm not going to say stupid, but you know what I mean. For my final book, Tinsel, this was bought for me last 2022 Christmas, and I didn't get a chance to read it over that Christmas period, so I did save it until this Christmas. And so it's Tinsel, the Girls Who Invented Christmas. It was such a cute story. Again, if you're a kid, this will be really fun, really funny, really silly. It was nice to have girls trying to be the representation of Christmas and making it a thing, even though even in the book they still tried to make it that it was a man, but they knew. They were the ones that did it. Yeah, I just rated it what did I rate this one? A 3 stars. Again, if I was 22 years younger, I feel so old saying 22 years younger, I would have loved it. I would have rated this at least a 4-star. But as an adult, we're going 3-star. So highly recommend it if you've not read this with your kids. It's very light-hearted. You can easily read it over the month, whatever. So highly recommend that one. We're going to leave the video here because we're already quite a few minutes in, at least half an hour into this video. So I'm going to do, right after this one, so I'm going to be wearing the same clothing, the books I'm looking forward to reading in 2024, but just because I don't want to drag it on for too long. But if you have read any of the books mentioned in this video, please let me know. Let me know what you rated them. And if you haven't read any of the books that I've mentioned, let me know if you are going to give them a try. I'll be interested to find out. And just keep an eye out for some more videos coming out. Now that I'm feeling much better, I can actually record and get them out to you guys. I'm really trying to stick to at least one a week schedule, but we'll see how it goes with the wedding planning as well, so just bear with me on that. So please like, comment and subscribe, and as I say, comment any of the books you've read or if you're going to read them and your ratings, etc. I'll be interested to find out. So until next video guys, bye!